Alrighty, hello everyone, Haley here, one of the nutrition providers from Vitality Health Matrix. And today we're going to put a brief pause on myth-busting topics so we can talk about the 10-day detox. So as you may have seen, hopefully you did see this announcement in our community chat thread and on the March calendar, we have the quarterly detox scheduled coming up next Monday, March 24th. So we wanted to take this week to talk all about it. I wanted to talk today about how you can prepare for it, answer any questions you may have. And of course, if you are catching the recording of this call and you do have questions that need answered, please feel free to drop them in the community chat thread. Or if you are listening here from the school community, please go into that community and drop your questions in there as well. Okay. And we are all going to be here, pardon me, to help answer them for you so you can feel best prepared to start. I always say I really want everybody who goes into the detox for their first time or into the quarterly detoxes moving forward to feel as prepared and confident as possible. That just really sets you up for success. So you can go through the whole 10 days, just feeling in flow, feeling like you're in a good rhythm, right? Instead of feeling like everything is just so last minute because you didn't take some intentional time before the detox to make that plan, right? So let's get into a couple things that I just wanted to briefly talk about to help steer you in the right direction if you're thinking of joining us in the quarterly detox, which I really hope you do. It is just such a wonderful opportunity to just put a brief pause on what you've been doing in your day to day, and really just love and nourish your body in simple but profound ways. We also work on loving on the liver too during the 10-day detox, just helping to with the process of our natural detoxification, right? So that is super important to not only do on a daily basis, of course, but sometimes life just happens and we're not so intentional with loving on those processes. So quarterly is just a really good way to, hey, I'm going to press the pause button and focus on these next 10 days to, yeah, support my detoxification pathways via my liver, right? I'm going to see what habits may have crept back into my daily routine that could be causing some symptoms I wasn't aware of. Maybe they were disrupting my sleep, or maybe it was bringing on more inflammation that my body just really actually doesn't need, right? You know, it's impacting the scale, or again, that inflammatory response could be bringing on those symptoms that we don't want to be dealing with on a day-to-day basis. So it's just a really good eye-opening opportunity for all of us to go through. All right, so my first tip is very simple when it comes to the detox, and that is go back through the Prepare to Detox module and look at the information with new eyes. All right, so as I mentioned, you know, maybe you've done the detox already. Maybe it's just been once that you've done the detox, right? Whenever you went through the program here with us at Vitality Health Matrix, and that's amazing. So you got one under your belt already. So you're going into another one. Even though you looked at that module already, I really encourage you to go back through it because sometimes we think we remember how to do the 10-day detox, but we might be missing a couple key facts or information or, you know, just how to go about it. So that's just really, really important. I see that often with some patients who do go back or who choose to go through the quarterly detox, but they don't go back through the modules. And, you know, maybe they are adding in dairy on day 2, right? Or they're adding in some things a little too soon, or maybe having gluten the whole time during the detox just by accident, right? They think they're doing the detox correctly with how we have it laid out. But sometimes we can, you know, just think we are approaching this with the best plan, and maybe we're not. So, just to say that lovingly, go through the module again. I even do that myself. I think it's really helpful to listen to the video that is in the module, and you might hear something that's, could be familiar to you. Like, obviously, you heard that in the past, but you might be hearing it the second time or third time, almost feeling like I heard this for the first time because it resonated with you more, right? You were growing so much in this journey, in this whole experience of just really helping to heal and honor your body and balance your body's systems and get to your goal weight, right? We're learning so much that sometimes when we hear something again, it just hits us differently, and we could take that and really run with it, whatever it might be. Right. So go back through. That is going to be my first tip for just checking out that module. Okay. Now, number two, this also is probably sounding very simple, but make a plan. Go through your recipes, the guides, everything that we provide for you, not only in the Prepare to Detox module, but if you go into the resource library in your program, you will see additional resources there. All right. So check out as much as you can the tools that you have. If you happen to need anything more, please let us know. Again, drop that in the community chat thread and say, hey, do you have an example meal plan, or do you have, just a list of X, Y, or Z, whatever you feel like you need. So we can provide that for you. Odds are, like, if you find you need that, somebody else might need that too. So then that could prompt us to say, hey, let's make this resource for everybody. And we could just add that in to the Prepare to Detox module, right? You guys help us understand how we can better serve you. So don't be shy about speaking up and asking for additional help. With all of that, though, you went through the recipes, you went through all the guides, you have a good idea of, okay, what do these 10 days really look like? Again, I'll just give you a brief Reader's Digest version. Again, I've been saying this is a 10-day detox, right? And we really just call it a mini elimination diet because we are removing some of the naturally inflammatory foods from your diet, and we're slowly adding things back in. Okay, so for the first 3 days, we are really heavily focused on non-starchy vegetables, protein, and healthy fats, okay, for each meal. And for those who are still on their medication, doing injections, I will always emphasize this as well, that even though your appetite might be a little lower, right? You notice that, okay, I can't have a typical size meal anymore. I have to eat smaller portions for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. If that is you, please continue to prioritize a mid-morning and mid-afternoon protein-filled, fiber-filled snack. Okay, we want to continue to ensure, even during the detox, that you are meeting your protein and nutrient needs. That is so, so important, okay, to support your body, balance blood sugar, keep cortisol balanced, right? Just everything, again, works so intimately connected, or works so intimately together. So just because we're doing the detox doesn't mean all these other focuses that we have been focusing on during the program, post the 3-month program, right, that we just put that on pause too while we do the detox. We still need to focus on dense nutrition here. All right. So with that, the first 3 days, again, are heavily focused with non-starchy veggies, protein, healthy fat. That healthy fat really just helps to ensure you're getting the caloric needs that your body needs to. We don't want you going hungry, feeling hungry throughout this time during the detox, all right? So as you move past those 3 days, you are on day 4 now. You can absolutely add your fruit back in. We are focusing on lower glycemic index fruits, right? So fruit that has a lot of fiber, like our blackberries, raspberries, blueberries, things like that, that is just so naturally, beautifully sweet when we add that back in. It's wonderful and insane at the same time how those 3 days of no sugar can really make an impact and change our taste buds, right? And so when we add in nature's candy, that fruit, we can really have a better appreciation for, wow, this fruit is really sweet and I'm satisfied by just this alone. To whereas before maybe we felt like, okay, we needed the cookie, we needed the dark chocolate, we needed both, we needed the ice cream to go with it to really try and, get that sweet craving curbed, right? But sometimes when we, again, put a brief pause on just our daily habits that we have been doing, and we kind of clean the slate and allow our taste buds to recalibrate, even just that fruit can be enough for you. All right, so that is day 4 and day 5. And then the second half of the detox, days 6 through days 10, day 10 is where you can add in your grains, your more starchy vegetables, your carbs like complex carbs like sweet potatoes, rice, quinoa, things like that. You can also add in, if you so choose, on day 6 to add in dairy. All right, some people feel so good that they realize, you know what, maybe I don't want to add in dairy this quickly. I want to continue on with the rest of the detox without dairy. And then, they explore adding dairy back in after the detox. That is completely up to you. Let your intuition guide you here and just continue to always be curious to see how is my body going to respond when I add these things back in, okay? But I really encourage you to do that one at a time. All right. So if you do want to have dairy on day 6, add dairy back in and try and be consistent with all the other foods that you have had up to that point. So dairy is the only outlier, right, that you're adding back in. So you can really lean into your body and say, how am I feeling with this new food being back into my system here? Am I feeling bloated? Did I get a headache? Our bowel movements a little bit different now. Did I see an uptick on this scale when I added this particular food or item back in? Right. So that is, of course, all outlined in the Prepare to Detox module, but I just kind of wanted to give you that brief overview here. So moving on with that, under making a plan, go grocery shopping after you make that plan, right? You understand, okay, this is the flow of the 10 days. These are the recipes that I want to have incorporated during the 10 days. So now you need to go get the food, right? And then you need to prep what you need as well. Your prep does not need to look crazy. I will say for me, I'm not a big meal prep kind of girl. I sometimes don't even know what I want for dinner until an hour or two before dinner time, right? And that is okay. But things that personally work for me, and I have shared this many of times, either on one-on-one coaching calls, or possibly in a previous mini training like this. But I always like to leverage, I should say, leftovers. Okay, so I am going to bulk roast a bunch of vegetables together, or if I feel up to turning on the grill, I love grilling vegetables as well. You can, of course, have, raw veggies, you can have salads, but like I will always ensure, especially during the detox, but this is just also daily life habits for me, that I am going to have vegetables on hand waiting for me so they can easily be added to any meal when I want them. All right, so bulk roasting veggies, say we're starting on Monday, right? Sunday night for dinner, I'm going to make a huge pan of roasted vegetables, not only for Sunday's dinner, but now this is going to give me a lot of leftovers for at least the next few lunches during the work week, right? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday during the detox, that again is very veggie focused during those first 3 days. I have those leftovers now, so I can either reheat leftovers or put the roasted veggies on top of leafy greens for a salad. Just really make it delicious for yourself, okay? Make it exciting. Same with proteins. Again, lunch is especially just a meal I need to have waiting for me in the fridge so I could just whip it together and get back to work. And I know a lot of you can agree with that. So that might look like, putting some proteins on the grill altogether, forming some burger patties or cooking up some salmon or chicken or turkey burgers, like whatever that looks like. You can grill them, you can, put them on a roasting pan as well and cook that in the oven. You can air fry them. Again, whatever is easy. You can get the crock pot out, right? And put a bunch of chicken or whatever you enjoy into that crock pot and bulk cook that protein together too again. So you just have something easy for you, right? That you can get and make that lunch. If lunch is also something that you need quick and you need it now, right? So you can get back to your routine during the work week. So, just some easy things that you can do, but they're also easy not to do, right? So just do your best to prep what you need so you can help your future self. Even with fresh produce, right? Bring that home from the grocery store, clean it up, chop it and store it and be done. So that is also waiting for you in the fridge because I know myself, if it is not cleaned and it's not ready for me, then oftentimes I during the workday at least I don't have time to clean and chop and deal with that, right? So I'm not going to reach for those vegetables. I'm going to reach for something that's quick, and that might be more nuts, and that's okay, but we also want to be in moderation with healthy fats, right? But that might even be like, well, crap, I'm hungry, so there's chips. And then we feel like, oh, we blew it on the detox, right? But just get right back to it. If that does happen, get right back to the detox and keep moving forward. You are okay, but that is just really good reminders to say, hey, you need to come into this prepared. So that is why I really want you to leverage this week, especially the weekend, to make that plan and be prepared for starting things next Monday, day one. Okay. Next tip here is just make it simple for yourself. Okay. There is no need to have a different breakfast for every day. There's no need to have a different dinner for every day. Make it simple. The way I love to do it is like I will find 1 to 2 different breakfasts that I really love. Typically, that is like the oatmeal recipe. I also enjoy making some turkey patties, or if you don't have time to make the turkey patties homemade, you could just get some ground turkey and cook that up in a pan, season it how you want to, store it in a glass container, and have that in the fridge waiting for you. Okay, so in the morning, when you want maybe a couple eggs with your breakfast, you could get that turkey out, put some turkey in the pan with the eggs to boost the protein content, right? Maybe get some wilted spinach into the pan. Maybe you cook up some zucchini, and now you've got a good amount of vegetables, protein. If you want to put some avocado on the side for some healthy fat, or, say you're on day 4 and you get to have fruit again, you can pair a little bowl of fruit on the side with that breakfast. All right, just an idea there, but I like to have a couple of those recipes where I could just rotate through. Okay, so I don't always have to feel like, oh my gosh, I have to find a different recipe for day 2 and day 3, 4, 5, 6. That gets really overwhelming, right? And as we continue to add foods back in, then yeah, you can totally, like, we don't want you to get sick on eggs, right? So if you want to try a smoothie, whenever you can add fruit back in, or if you're happy with adding yogurt back in and your body responds well to that, you can have a yogurt bowl with fruit. Like, there are so many ways you could go about this, but at the end of the day, just keep it simple. I always make extra for dinner during the detox, and this is just during my normal life too, outside of the detox. I make a lot of extra for dinner so it could turn into an easy leftover for lunch the next day. Again, whether that is reheated or it is added on top of a salad. All right. So I also want to note this, that, just be mindful if you are following to a T the recipes that we do provide. Just be aware that maybe some recipes are just a little bit lower in protein than what your protein intake needs are. Okay, so absolutely boost the protein intake, the vegetable intake, whatever your personal needs are, to just match what you need, what the fuel is that you need during the day. Okay, it doesn't have to look exactly like the recipe. I will follow recipes sometimes, but I'm always adding more to it so it satisfies what I need nutritionally, all right, and for my own goals. All right, so moving on to my next little tip here, and this is something you maybe already talked about with your nutrition provider if you work with one already, but please prioritize three main meals. All right, don't sacrifice your protein needs and ensure you're getting complete meals during the detox. Okay, so, again, I mentioned this briefly just a little bit ago, but if you are having, if you're still on your medication, right, and you still are on your injection and your appetite is lower, we need to ensure that you are still getting breakfast, lunch, and dinner in the day, but those meals might look smaller, right? Because you just can't eat what you used to be able to eat before. But that is where we have to add in those mid-morning and mid-afternoon snacks that are protein focused. Yes, add some, fiber to that, or, like vegetables, or when you can add in more complex carbs, more grains, whatever that looks like during the second half of the detox, you can absolutely pair that too. But we don't want to sacrifice nutrition, okay? Your body needs that. The goal of the 10-day detox is not to eat less and lose a bunch of weight. It is let's support your body, love on your body as much as you can, nourish it with the proper foods, whole foods that we are focusing on, right? So we can help to lower inflammation, help you to feel even better, and also to help you identify what old habits or, what foods, what drinks may be leading to an inflammatory response. Okay, so then we can take that information and move forward with that empowerment of like, okay, instead of continuing to add insult to injury with this particular thing that is absolutely adding inflammation into my body and into my life, let's make some tweaks here and crowd that out with something and add something better. Okay. Now, I do get questions all the time about coffee intake. So this is going to be my, I have one other tip after this, but this is my second to last tip here. So if you are a coffee drinker and you will hear in the module of the Prepare to Detox that yes, we do encourage you to put a brief pause on your caffeine and coffee intake as well during the 10 days. But sometimes that might be easier said than done because, yes, when we stop drinking caffeine, our bodies are just so used to it, right? It is a habit at that point. Then we will absolutely, a lot of us will at least experience those headaches and those detox symptoms that aren't fun to go through, right? So we always want to meet you in the middle and say, hey, like, have this discussion with yourself. Like, am I up to cutting out coffee for 10 days? Do I think I really can do it? Am I only drinking 1 cup of coffee right now? And that might be easier on my system to detox from, right? And I could bounce back feeling even better. Or am I really dependent on caffeine where I'm drinking 3 cups or more a day? Maybe, not only are you drinking coffee, and or maybe you're having, diet Pepsi or Coke or energy drinks, like whatever that form of caffeine looks like. Be honest with yourself to see where am I at right now and how can I cut this out just a little bit better than nothing at all, right? We don't want you to feel like you have to go through the work day or the work week really struggling with those headaches. I have been there myself. They're not fun. So if you feel like, well, I'm doing this 10-day detox, but I'm absolutely going to continue drinking coffee after this. Here's a couple scenarios for you. Like if you are currently drinking 3 cups of coffee right now, can we cut it back to 2 cups? Right? Can you do that? If you maybe load your coffee up with cream and sugar, can we try black coffee or can we try like MCT or coconut oil? Added to your coffee to start. If that's also a no, maybe we could look into unsweetened coconut milk or almond milk, right? That you can add into your coffee just for that little bit of cream that you're used to having. All right. Now, if you do just have a cup of coffee, can we try to have that with or after breakfast instead of before breakfast, like first thing in the morning, right? And that will really help to balance your blood sugar and your cortisol levels as well. All right, that is huge there. Can we also maybe switch if you're open to this? Instead of having your coffee, you can switch to green tea, which still gets you some caffeine. Might be around 45 milligrams. Don't quote me on that, but it's at least half of the amount of milligrams of caffeine that is in coffee. All right. Plus, you get all the antioxidants as well that come with green tea. Can you make that swap? What are you willing to do? Right. I really want you to, just be honest with yourself and say, hey, how can I further support my body during these 10 days? All right, so that is really the coffee talk there. I know I added in the Diet Coke, the Diet Pepsi examples too, but we really encourage you to putting a pause on that habit and swapping something else out for that caffeine if you feel like you need it, like that green tea, for example. Okay. Now, my last tip for you is while you are going through the 10-day detox, I'm going to point you back to the modules again and have you check out the well-rounded plate module that we talk about post detox. I just also think this is very important to revisit because sometimes we forget some of this information, right? And so the well-rounded plate module that follows the prepare to detox module, that just talks about how you can move forward post detox. Again, mindfully adding one thing at a time back into your diet to really see, are there any triggers that are coming from gluten or a different type of grain or a different type of starch or a different type of drink, right? Like anything new that you hadn't had in those 10 days during the detox, add them in one at a time so you can lean in, journal, right? Journaling is huge, especially during the detox, so we can pick up on some of these little red flags, if you will, or triggers to see and to make that discernment, make that connection, and know how to move forward again with that empowerment and say, okay, this is definitely impacting me in a negative way. What can I swap out so I can continue feeling amazing from the inside out? Right. So this is just, again, helping you to connect deeper with your body and what your true needs are. Okay. Again, so you can feel good on the inside out and continue maintaining if you're in maintenance right now with your weight or continue on your weight loss journey. All right, so that wraps everything up for today. I hope some of these tips were really helpful and insightful for you. Again, if you have any additional questions, please let us know. Drop them in the community chat thread or in the school thread there in the community, and we will be there to help you and guide you. All right, so you can kick off day one strong. All right, you have an amazing day, and we will chat soon.